All right, Shalom Akim. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakwadash, for allowing me to do another lesson. Yahweh, who the world ignorantly calls God. Yahushai is his son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And there's no God beside them. I want to give double honor to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone for being faithful witnesses to the Holy Spirit. And Shalom to the elect, whom the Most High have given ears to hear. I want to do this quick lesson going to the article I ran across on the Blacklisted News entitled UK think tank proposes tracking vehicles with GPS and taxing them based on distance travel. Alright, and it's nothing more than a forced conversion, alright, to the EV vehicles, and more so of a control of the population. Okay, that's in a nutshell what this NWO is. All right, it's control over the people, to where just like the CV situation, we're not telling you got to get it. All right, but we're gonna make life a lot harder for those who don't have it. All right, the devil in his wordplay. But it says UK, all right, the UK think tank Resolution Foundation has proposed a £6 per mile road tax on electrical vehicles to avoid a massive shortfall in tax revenues. And another word for the UK think tank is the UK government. All right, which the word govern meaning control and ment meaning mind. All right, so mind control. To achieve this, vehicles will be tracked with GPS, adding to the growing surveillance nightmare. The proposed road tax will be measured through GPS data that measures distance traveled. Motorists would also be charged more for using congested areas in an attempt to reduce traffic. The government has been collecting less fuel duty, which accounts for 2% of the total tax collected. Electric cars are not charged fuel duty for the electricity they use. What we're proposing is a system to basically reform how driving is taxed so that everyone starts paying again. The Resolution Foundation said in its report, at the moment, the people who are not paying this tax are people who have the funds to buy an electric vehicle. That means that not only is this sort of tax base declining, but it's declining by better off people opting out. The automotive industry experts have warned that the road tax would discourage people from buying electric vehicles, according to RAC Foundation Director Steve Gooding. The fluctuating price of electricity is already discouraging people from buying EVs. Increasing the cost of using them and increasing surveillance will likely put people off further. You know, and this devil's gonna have to come down having great wrath. All right, because a lot of people are not with this NWO. As I seen another article going into how a lot of Americans, they're very wary of the central bank digital currency, understanding that it's going to bring more bring more of a strict totalitarian or stricter lifestyle for them. You know, here it is. For the longest, you had people believing they had rights. You had people believing, you know what I'm saying, that their vote mattered, but yet you're pushing on them your legislation. All right, and this is what shows that we're at the end. Well, as the scriptures say, better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. You see, we're at the point where Esau, Edom, the devil is showing his horns. All right, that your vote really doesn't matter. Your thought doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is what we tell you to do. All right, but this is grab this actually. Psalms chapter 10, verse 1. Why standest thou far off, O Lord? Why hidest thou thyself in times of trouble? The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. And as we get closer and closer, all right, to the MOTB being pushed, Esau's plans for his new world order, guess what? The poor is going to feel it. All right, and I find it interesting to where at the same time this devil is pushing these EV vehicles is when Russia, stops supplying fuel and gas to the EU. Going to show you, which if you know, going to show you that they're all working in cahoots. To the untrained eye, you would think that one is against the other. But the main thing, as we know, the scriptures tell us in Revelation 13, that he calls it all, rich and poor, free and bond, all right, to receive a mark in their right hand on their forehead. All meaning everyone. Every single individual will be forced, all right, will be forced through these legislations. All right, it's going to be, you're going to get taxed more, if you're using regular vehicles, which, like I mentioned in the beginning of in this lesson, just look at the CV incident. That tactic is going to be used throughout every single course of action to get the people, all right, in full compliancy. The wicked and his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire. All right, which when you read the news, you go into these different conferences, like the World Health Organization and the World Economic Forum, these different conferences, they tell you, all right, listen to the devil, Yuval Noah Harari, which he's known as the prophet to Klaus Schwab. All right, they tell you plainly what they want to do. No matter how diabolical it sounds, they tell you, listen, the CV situation was just the beginning. We want to get into the people. All right, they want to track you at every inch of your life. All right. Again, going back to this article, UK think tank, all right, which you could call it the UK government, which the UK government gets orders from above, proposes tracking vehicles with GPS and taxing them based on distance travel. So it says, for the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesseth the covetous whom the Lord abhorreth. Now, according to the scriptures, how we ought to speak is, like the scriptures say, you ought to say, Lord will, for you know not. Let me see if I can find that one. Sheesh. Okay. James 4:13. Call out Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Go to now, ye that say today or tomorrow we will go into such a city and continue there a year, and will buy and sell and get gain. Whereas ye know not what shall be on the morrow, for what is your life? It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time and then vanisheth away. For that ye ought to say, if the Lord will, we shall live and do this or do that. But now you rejoice in your boastings, all such rejoicing is evil. And this is who's ruling the world. The wicked, the evil. The one that believes that he, as the scriptures say in 2 Thessalonians 2, that exalteth and opposes above all that is called God or that is worship. He think he the shit. All right? Hey, but so did Nebuchadnezzar. And then the Lord brought him down to a beast. So did every previous ruler, all right, that touched the earth. The wicked through the pride of his, the Lord said about Pharaoh that he exalted him. He exalted Pharaoh just so that he could show his power. So a day, as the scripture said in Revelations 18, there's going to be a day, a time, an hour where Yahweh Hashem Yahushai comes and humbles him. Yahweh sends Yahushai through the chariots. That's the big thing in the news now. To come and humble him. All right. The Lord will turn those that were at confederate against you. All right. You will not receive complete control of the world. Complete control belongs to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. All right. It says, the wicked through the pride of his countenance will not seek after God. God is not in all his thoughts. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. You know, because when you look in the news, another thing that he's pushing is to destroy the white supremacists, which of course he's saying that he's sweeping us in that particular pot. Again, exaltive, who is opposive and exaltive above all that is called God or that is worship. Anybody who has an ounce of decency, right, who still believes that the Lord exists and that the Lord will judge you, and who still fears the Lord, knows that this wickedness is going on. And those are the same ones he's coming after. It says, as written of in 2 Ezra 16, still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. He hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. All right, and of course he's going to say that because the Lord he's going to allow him to eat, you know. So as he's meditating upon his plans, you know, as he's seeing coming into fruition, you know, as he's cutting down the opposition, he's thinking he's going to eat. All right. That meal is smelling not much more tasty to him. You know, his mouth is salivating. He's got a lot to say. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. All right, here it is. You know, people are losing jobs. All right, inflation is like at a crazy height. And yet you still want to tax the people like crazy. His eyes are privily set against the poor. At the end, it's going to be what? The rich and the poor. The ones who have the trillions and the ones who have nothing. All right? Hey, it's a show on Netflix called 3%, which shows you perfectly how this devil is going to have this, how this NWO is going to play out. They even tell you what, you should own nothing and be happy, roughly paraphrasing. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. Okay? And to draw fish into the net, you have to have the right bait. So this devil's going to come after your jobs. He's going to come after your so-called comfortable livelihood, knowing that to keep those benefits going, you're going to sign on. You're going to feel like you have to comply. When he draweth him into his net, he croucheth and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. All right. And again, the narrative will be, because I saw another article real quick before I ended out. The narrative will be net zero. Let me see. Yeah, I seen this one. Because it says, let's see, creating the sustainable electrical vehicle revolution. Right? And just jump straight to the point. Let me see. Government policy, all right, the think tank, has always played an important role in environmental policy, ranging from the corporate sticks. Really, the think tank is, the elites above, but they push their legislation through the government, ranging from the corporate sticks of regulatory penalties around CO2 emissions to the consumer carrots of purchase subsidies. In the EU, the countries of the UK, Iceland, the Netherlands, Sweden, and Norway all plan to phase out the sale of new gas-powered vehicles by 2030 or 35. China, with the world's largest EV market, is placing increasingly stringent emission standards on vehicle manufacturers, but faces a significant sustainability challenge with coal-powered electrical production. And the U.S. President Biden multi-trillion-dollar infrastructure package prioritizes EVs and clean energy with the goal of bringing the nation's emissions down to net zero by 2050. California, Colorado, Massachusetts, New Jersey, and Washington have announced even more stringent policies with outright bans of new gas-powered vehicle sales as early as 2035. All right? So the narrative is net zero. We want to get CO2 emissions down. All right? But again, as the quote goes, as the saying goes, basically, I forgot exactly how it goes, but basically, to tell somebody else to do something and you don't do it is manipulation. Right? Dang, that was a hell of a quote. I forgot it though. But basically, it goes like that. Like, if you tell somebody, okay, words without action is manipulation. I believe it goes something like that. Because here it is. You're orchestrating war. All right? You are, burning down trees. You're killing off livestock, but you care about CO2 emissions. So it says, he croucheth and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. He hath said in his heart, God hath forgotten. He hideth his face, he will never see it. Arise, O Yahweh, O God, lift up thine hand, forget not the humble. Okay? And according to Psalms 50, what was that, 50 or 52? The Lord will not forget us. Psalms 50 and 21. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself. But I will reprove thee, and set them in order before thine eyes. Now consider this, ye that forget God, lest I tear ye in pieces, and there be none to deliver. And they will not consider. They will not consider the words of the right. So, the outcome is that the Lord will tear them to pieces. All right? Through them ICBM nuclear missiles. Can't forget about the chariots. All right? The Lord is going to come. And as the scriptures say, when Yahweh shall open his mouth, all right, because his reproof is going to be physical. It was nothing but the dust and smell of smoke. All right, whoso offereth praises glorifieth me, and to him that ordereth his conversation aright will I shew the salvation of God. All right, so the Lord is going to come back and judge this man for what he's done to the apple of his eye, what he's done to his creation. All right, so with that, shalom to the elect.